This is 2022 Philippines presidential election, fearless forecast. Number 10. Jose Montemayor Jr. Jose Montemayor Jr. works primarily as a cardiologist at major hospitals. He claims to bring a medical, legal and economics background to the presidential race and his first campaign for public office. His tandem with Rizalito David is basing its platform on what the candidates call a faith-based approach to glorify God. Montemayor has expressed his opposition to same-sex unions, abortion, except for medical reasons, divorce and a death penalty. He is campaigning on a 10-point agenda to address COVID-19, eliminate corruption, improve the campaign against illegal drugs, achieve full employment, alleviate poverty and attain economic prosperity. His agenda also includes a holistic approach to the West Philippine Sea, the welfare of migrant Filipinos, press freedom, education, negotiations with rebel groups and advancements in agriculture and infrastructure. Although he vows to address the pandemic, Montemayor has made harmful claims about COVID-19 and the tools employed to mitigate its spread. He incorrectly claimed at his campaign kickoff that both RT-PCR tests and antigen tests are useless and inaccurate. The same event was marked by the non-compliance of some attendees and Montemayor himself with the pandemic task force and Cum-Lex rules on mask wearing. Number 9. Ernesto Abella. Ernesto Ernie Corpus Abella, born c. 1948–1949, is a Filipino businessman, writer and former evangelist who served in President Rodrigo Duterte's administration as presidential spokesperson, 2016 to 2017, and Undersecretary for Strategic Communications and Research of the Department of Foreign Affairs, 2017 to 2021. He is currently an independent candidate in the 2022 Philippine presidential election. Before joining the government, he was an executive with a Davao City-based agricultural products manufacturer and a local cooperative which he co-founded. He also established a school in Davao and was a columnist for a local newspaper Sunstar Davao. Number 8. Norberto Gonzales. Norberto Borja Gonzales, born April 17, 1947, is a Filipino Social Democratic politician who served as Secretary of National Defense and National Security Advisor under President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Gonzales is a candidate in the 2022 presidential election. Number 7. Faisal Mangondato. Faisal Mangondato, born December 30, 1962, is a businessman who is running as the Katipunan and Kamalayang Kayumanggi party's standard bearer. He was born in Lanao del Sur's Ramandatsan and now lives in Mayray City. Number 6. Leody de Guzman. Leodigario ca Leody Quitin de Guzman, born July 25, 1959, is a Filipino Social Democratic labor rights activist. He was the former president and currently the chairperson of the Buklaran ng Manggagawang Pilipino, a socialist federation of militant trade unions. He was an aspirant in the 2019 senatorial elections, and is a candidate for the 2022 Philippine presidential elections under the Partido Lakas ng Masa. Number 5. Isko Moreno. Francisco Moreno Damaguso, born October 24, 1974, also known by his stage name Isko Moreno, is a Filipino politician and actor, currently serving as the 22nd mayor of Manila since 2019. Before heading the capital of the Philippines, he first gained notability as an actor and television personality. He entered politics in 1998, and ran for city councilor and was elected for 3 consecutive terms. In 2007, he ran as vice mayor of Manila and was elected for 3 consecutive terms. In 2016, he was term limited as vice mayor, and unsuccessfully ran for senator in the 2016 senatorial elections. He placed 16th out of 50 candidates. He then served in the Duterte cabinet as social welfare undersecretary for a few months in 2018 before running and being elected mayor of Manila in a landslide victory against his former allies Joseph Estrada and Alfredo Lim in the 2019 local elections. Moreno has described his leadership style as akin to that of his predecessor Alfredo Lim, citing their shared commitment in reducing crime and maintaining cleanliness of the capital. Moreno is also noted for his streetwise public image due to his use of colorful language coupled with Manila street slang. As a result, he was catapulted into prominence and is colloquially referred to as Yorm. On September 22, 2021, Moreno announced his bid for the Philippine presidency in the 2022 election. Number 4. Bongbong Marcos. Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., born September 13, 1957, commonly referred to as Bongbong Marcos, BBM, is a Filipino politician who served as a senator from 2010 to 2016. He is the second child and only son of former president, dictator, and kleptocrat Ferdinand Marcos Sr. and former First Lady Imelda Romualdez Marcos. In 1980, the 23-year-old Marcos Jr. became vice governor of Ilocos Norte, running unopposed under the Kayumanggi Lipunan party of his father, who was ruling the Philippines under martial law at the time. He then became governor of Ilocos Norte in 1983, holding that office until his family was ousted from power by the People Power Revolution and fled into exile in Hawaii in February 1986. After the death of his father in 1989, President Corazon Aquino eventually allowed the remaining members of the Marcos family to return to the Philippines to face various charges. Marcos was elected as representative of Ilocos Norte's 2nd Congressional District from 1992 to 1995. Marcos ran for and was elected governor of Ilocos Norte again in 1998. After 9 years, he returned to his previous position as representative from 2007 to 2010, then became senator under the Nacionalista Party from 2010 to 2016. In 2015, Marcos ran for vice president in the 2016 election. With a difference of 263,473 votes and 0.64% difference, Marcos lost to Camarines Sur Representative Leni Robredo. In response, Marcos filed an electoral protest at the Presidential Electoral Tribunal. His petition was later unanimously dismissed after the pilot recount of the chosen provinces of Negros Oriental, Iloilo and Camarines Sur resulted in Robredo widening her lead even more by 15,093 additional votes. In 2021, Marcos announced that he will run for president of the Philippines in the upcoming 2022 election, under the Partido Federal and Pilipinas, PFP. His campaign has received much criticism, with Agence France-Presse noting that his campaign is driven by a massive misinformation campaign aimed at revamping the Marcos brand and smearing his rivals. His camp also drew criticism for allegedly whitewashing the human rights abuses and plunder that took place during his father's time as president. Number 3. Panfilo Lacson. Panfilo Moreno Lacson Sr., born June 1, 1948, is a Filipino politician and former police general serving as a senator since 2016, and previously from 2001 to 2013. He was the Director General of the Philippine National Police, plug and play, from 1999 to 2001, and was a candidate in the 2004 presidential election. During his tenure as the chief of the plug and play, he was known for instituting various reforms within the organization. His high approval rating and high-profile anti-corruption campaigns paved the way for his Senate bid in 2001, where he won and placed 10th in the elections. He would later run for the presidency in 2004, but lost. After his failed campaign, Lacson continued his term. He would be re-elected in 2007. After his first term in the Senate, Lacson was appointed by then-President Benigno Aquino III as Presidential Assistant for Rehabilitation and Recovery in December 2013. He led the management and rehabilitation efforts of the central provinces in the Philippines affected by Typhoon Yolanda. While he initially planned to run for president again in 2016, he later opted to run for the Senate in the 2016 elections. He won and ranked 4th in the said elections. Lacson is running in the 2022 presidential election as an independent candidate, initially under the Partido para sa Demokratiko Reforma. Number 2. Manny Pacquiao. Emmanuel de Pedron Pacquiao Sr., born December 17, 1978, is a Filipino politician and former professional boxer. Nicknamed Pac-Man, he is regarded as one of the greatest professional boxers of all time. He has been serving as a senator of the Philippines since 2016. Pacquiao is the only A-Division world champion in the history of boxing and has won 12 major world titles. He was the first boxer to win the lineal championship in 5 different weight classes, the first boxer to win major world titles in 4 of the 8 glamour divisions, flyweight, featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight, and is the only boxer to hold world championships across 4 decades, 1990s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. In July 2019, Pacquiao became the oldest welterweight world champion in history at the age of 40, and the first boxer in history to become a recognized 4-time welterweight champion after defeating Keith Thurman to win the WBA super welterweight title. As of 2015, Pacquiao's fights had generated $1.2 billion in revenue from his 25 pay-per-view bouts. According to Forbes, he was the second highest paid athlete in the world in 2015. Pacquiao entered politics in 2010 when he was elected as the representative of Sarangani. He held this post for 6 years until he was elected and assumed office as a senator in 2016. He became the president of his party PDP Laban in 2020, which is disputed since 2021. On September 19, 2021, Pacquiao officially declared his candidacy for President of the Philippines in the 2022 Philippine presidential election. His plan to expand his political career led to his retirement from professional boxing 10 days later. Outside of boxing and politics, Pacquiao was the head coach and a player for the Philippine Basketball Association Team Kia Mahindra for 3 seasons from 2014 to 2017, before founding the semi-professional Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. He has also starred in films and has presented television shows. In music, He has released multiple PRI-certified platinum albums and songs. His cover of Sometimes When We Touch peaked at 19 in the United States on Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart after a performance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He is also an evangelical Christian preacher, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. And the next president of the Philippines, Leni Robredo. Maria Leonor Leni Gerona Robredo, born April 23, 1965, is a Filipino lawyer, politician, and social activist who is the 14th and incumbent Vice President of the Philippines. Robredo was the wife of the late Jesse Robredo, who was Interior Secretary from 2010 to 2012. She served as the representative of Camarines Sur's 3rd District from 2013 until her inauguration as Vice President in 2016. In the vice presidential election, Robredo defeated Bongbong Marcos by a narrow margin of 263,473 votes. A report released by the Supreme Court further widened her lead to 278,566 over Marcos. Robredo is the second woman to serve as Vice President of the Philippines after Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and the first Vice President from the Pacquiao region. In 2016, Robredo was awarded by the Government of Thailand for her work and advocacy in women's empowerment and gender equality. Under her leadership, the Office of the Vice President also received the ISO 9001-2015 certification for the office's quality management systems. On October 7, 2021, Robredo announced her bid for the presidency in the 2022 election. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.